Hi, Helena.
Hi.
Lovely to meet you. I'm glad we're able to make this happen. Yeah, so you can see I snapped a screenshot. You're Funkalicious behind the stories. Was that so? Did you say it was an album launch that you've just had, or was it a single launch for this track?
Yeah, I have just released my album called Funkalicious. I released it officially in November as a whole album, but I've just done the live show last
Yeah,
week,
yeah. How did that go?
celebrating it.
Yeah,
It was
fantastic.
fantastic.
Yeah, was it a launch? You say it was like their first show for the album.
Yeah, it was the first time performing the whole album. So there's 11 songs in entirety, and we did it from start to finish. That was my envision. And we did it for the first time last week in Vienna. So I'm based between London and Vienna, currently in
Oh
Vienna
my
at the
my
moment.
goodness.
Yeah.
That just sounds like it must have been so exciting to do it. What took you to Vienna? Do you have contacts there?
Yeah, so I work with an Austrian bass player in London called Stefan Redenbacher, and we did a collaboration album together back in 2018. And then he was like, "Hey, I think Austria might be a really great place for you to sing and to create my music." And that's where the journey's been really over the last 4 years. And to release the album now is fantastic.
Well, it sounds just wonderful. I just had a little listen just before I got online. I'm rehearsing at the moment, so and had a really good night out with an old friend last night, if I'm perfectly honest. So, slightly,
Nice.
slightly
Sounds
woozy,
good.
but yeah, it's good to celebrate. It's good to celebrate and celebrate music, and that sounds fascinating. Yeah, so you've been over in Vienna working on this particular album.
Yeah, so we used lockdown actually was a blessing in a creative sense. Of course, we couldn't be gigging live at the time, but for me, I really bunkered down in the studio. So we've got a studio here in Vienna with my boyfriend, and he co-wrote it and produced the album with me, and we used lockdown as writing time. So it was we were able to create something positive out of something that was very, very negative and confusing and an unsure situation.
Yeah, a lot of people did that. A lot of people managed to do that. It was such a challenging time lockdown, but a lot of people found themselves being really creative, which is a lovely thing to have come out of such an awful situation. The album, so you did 11, so that was your vision to do the whole album on the night.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
presumably there was quite a lot of organisation around that. This is, as you've seen, you have been just joined the group, so welcome and thank you so much.
Thanks. Hi, everyone.
And you can see that, yeah, a lot of different independent creators, got musicians, we've got photographers, we've got artists, lots of different people, and so often ask, yeah, how do people go about doing their thing? Because from what I can see, you've released quite a few albums, and so I'm curious, how did you get that together? If you're okay to talk about the process of
Yeah.
organizing your launch for those that have yet to organize a launch for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a lot of time. Also money too, because if you're gonna have well, want a quality venue with a quality band. Of course, when you are in a music community, there are people that you meet while you're gigging and they believe in your project, and of course you can sometimes find mates rates, which is always really lovely, but of course people need to make a living, so money factor and also a lot of passion and a lot of dedication to put I organize it because I had 10 main musicians in my band last week.
Oh,
So
you did?
it was big. Yes, I had two background vocalists, three horns, and then I had my five-piece core band with violin as well, and also a co-writer came and joined, and they very much believe in my project and have done from the beginning. So it was good to be able to celebrate that and do that with them.
Oh, that must have been so Brilliant. Well, I was probably working and I've only just met you, but it just sounds like such a good night. Were you really buzzing about the night? It must have been
Yeah, it was
fantastic.
amazing. Yeah, like my album came out in November digitally, and we really wanted to do a live release then, but because of COVID restrictions in Austria at the time, we had to postpone. So I've had to wait an extra 5 months for my official release. So I'm not the most patient kind of person in that sort of situation where I just really want to get it out and showcase it. So it's nice to finally, after 5 months, have had that extra planning basically. I guess that was a blessing in a sense. Extra 5 months to
Yeah.
plan everything, get
Yeah.
rehearsals in, try and get 10, 11 plus people in the same room is quite a challenge.
I know it does sound like a challenge. And then you said with the funding side, again, just whatever you're comfortable sharing, because I totally
Yeah.
appreciate you might be private. So how do you? I know that there can be art, there can be funds, there can be grants, there can be PRS and PPL can have grants as well, and there are all sorts of private things, or it can be funded by yourself as well. So, what kinds of ways did you? People can do part-time jobs. Quite a lot, loads of creatives have got
Yeah.
part-time jobs as well. What were the different ways that you got that together?
So it was through my singing career. So money that I'd saved up prior to lockdown. You know, when you have those sort of funds for a rainy day,
Yeah.
that had to come into it. But it's very much all self-funded. We did consider doing some funding through like Arts Council. You can also do that here in Austria. But we were already halfway through the album creation, so I couldn't apply for any extra crowdfunding. I considered maybe doing it, you know, with a fan base that you can approach fans and people that follow you to support. But everything so far has been self-funded and a lot of just time. So I've had to like be my own like personal assistant, my own sort of manager, writing the social media, the video editing, everything. And I do that alongside with my boyfriend, the co-producer. So we're a small two-person team
Uh-huh.
with an extra. We do have some extra guys as well that help us when we're on filming shoots, like with behind the stories that you've got there. We did that as a series, so I could introduce all the songs on the album like acted and scripted. So yeah, there's a very small team of us, but we've achieved quite a lot in the last 18 months with the album.
Absolutely, absolutely, and
Yeah.
that is what it's about, isn't it? It's about making that commitment, and it is a project of just a passion that you want to do. So you put the hours in, and that's what a lot of independent creatives do. So behind the story. So yeah, tell us more about this then. So you say acted and scripted with each different song.
Yeah, so I come from a stage
Fabulous.
background. Yeah, I
Right?
come from stage, so I trained in musical theatre. That's kind of where my grounding is. I thought very
Oh,
much I wanted to do that. But I found myself veering more into the session singing side, doing a lot of funk and soul singing world.
where are
But
you
I
from? Sorry,
really
Helena, I haven't even asked that.
but I really do enjoy acting, and this film came into play when I thought, hey, I'd really like those who follow me to know a little bit more about the stories, but of the songs. So they're basically all personal. All 11 songs are personal journeys of mine, like from toxic relationship experiences to self doubt while you're going through the industry, to self discovery and love as well, and being able to love yourself and love others around you, and also the stories are about embracing individuality, like whoever you are in the world you can do great. So I really wanted to show this through film and we actually
Interesting,
scripted.
original.
Yeah, thank you. We scripted, my boyfriend and I, like 30 seconds each of each song, so they could be in reel format. That's something that's so popular at the moment on social media as reels. So I was like, okay, I'd like to tie into that with this film. So we actually did them in vertical formats. Each song is under, up to 30 seconds in length. So you can actually watch them as a reel series as you go along on my social media channel, or you can go on YouTube and you can watch the whole thing in its entirety, and it's about four
Fantastic
minutes
idea.
long.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a really original idea, and I love how it ties into your acting as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm going to go and have a listen to them. I'm dying to watch them and see what the storyline is. So it's so there was kind of continuity throughout the 11 tracks. Was it no, different stories for each different
Yeah,
song?
yeah, they are different. So I've got a story in there with like Diamond 101 that I bought out 5 singles last year to introduce the album before the whole thing. So the first track was Diamond 101, which is very much about toxic relationship, realizing that you're not supposed to be with this person and you're breaking away from them, and that was the concept of Diamond 101.
Is it
There's
that you're a
also,
diamond?
yeah, to realize that you're a diamond in the rough, and that you can, like 101 is basically like the instruction book on how to like be, or kind of work through things. So that was the reason of Diamond 101.
Yeah, a great one.
um there's also like a really fun when does it stop story in there, where it's like when you're on discovering yourself, but like sometimes you find like interesting or funny, tricky situations. And it talks a little bit about that. And it's got the horn section in there too, which I absolutely love. And it's really funky and punchy.
Oh God, it just sounds so much fun. I'm wondering, well, as soon as play anybody's music, when I try and put it up on YouTube, it says you do not have permission to monetize. It always looks like I'm going to have a call from the police, which is
Oh,
awful.
really?
But if I have your
Yeah.
consent to play, do I have your consent to try and screen share and see if we can play something?
Yeah,
A little bit of
absolutely.
something. Well, maybe we'll just do like snippets so that we can, so that perhaps it won't do that. But it's always a bit of a conflict. So let's just see. What did I
Yeah,
get up here? So I've got up this one, which I think is, yeah, which is
this is
Funkalicious.
Funkalicious.
Let's
Yes.
play a little bit of that.
I can't take the heat anymore. Tell me, what am I fighting for? My battery's running low, so low. And the clock is ticking on. I'm asking you if I'm wrong when I stick to these words like a mantra. Aim high, shine bright in the night like wildfires. Keep burning inside tonight. I reach out for the sky. I want to be Funkalicious, and I need to be Funkalicious. Who wants to be Funkalicious? Come join with me Funkalicious.
Oh, that's a fantastic song.
Yeah,
That is a
thank
fantastic
you.
song right there. What you must be so buzzing about this album. I mean, that's the one that I've listened to. So I'll get completely banned off YouTube. We'll just put it up on the on the Facebook group maybe. Well, we'll try anyway, and you can share it with
Yeah,
people. Like, 'cause I
absolutely.
just listened to if you're well, is your album on a similar vein? I can hear that electro influence, and then obviously the funk side as well. So is it along the same lines? And do you produce it? What do you play? Obviously you're singing there. Do you
Yeah.
produce it with your Austrian producer?
Yeah, I'm massively influenced by funk, disco, soul, and then I really love modern electronic music as well. So this is very much a hybrid album. I really wanted to play between the live instrumentation and then also the electronic, like commercial, like studio side that is very much what leading kind of commercial music is doing right now. And I have 19 musicians on my album altogether, so it was a really like big collaboration, and a lot of them are British and Austrian. And I'm massively influenced, which I know you've worked with them, Jamiroquai.
Yeah.
I've always, I kind of envision, I've always felt inspired about being a new female generation of Jamiroquai, and that's something I've really loved. What JK and the guys have achieved is that they have that musician side, but then they also tie into the commerciality of pop. So that's where like the hybridness of it, and Funkalicious is very much like an EDM, like electronic track. It's maybe not like your typical like song that you would expect for a song being called Funkalicious, but I wanted
Sounds
it
funky
more
to me.
yeah, oh cool, thanks. Yeah, so it's yeah, definitely like an attitude, you know, of being Funkalicious and being really, really strong and like pushing through any sort of any struggles, things that you go through. But yeah, that's kind of where the music is. It's very much lined in funk. There's a disco track called Trying as well, which I brought out in July last year, and that's super funky disco.
What's that one
Um,
called? Trying.
it's called Trying, yeah. You can try and find it.
I will try and find it. Yeah, let's have a go.
Yeah. And I really
Uh,
wanted to have music videos for all 5 singles as well. So you can see there, that's like a bat. I wanted like to do a Batgirl, like dark themic video for that. And trying is fun as well. I really like trying.
all right, let's see if we can find that as well. Trying. So this was. So did you say this is the trying is more disco than having the EDM side, or is it still
Yeah,
both?
it's still both, but it's more on the disco flavor, especially for the chorus. So a lot of the tracks have an electronic side to them, but then they have live, like a live bass, drums added on top, or guitar, keys, synths.
All right, let's have a listen to this. Trying a little bit of this as well. Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to. Oh, so I've taken it. Can you hear it? Probably not.
No, it's
No,
not
because I
coming
put it on.
through.
That's because I put it on Bluetooth. Hang on a second. Um, I just went on Bluetooth there because there was some background noise that I wanted to zone out. But then, of course, it means that it means that we can't hear it. Wait a minute. Let's just go back off that again. All right, let's try that again without.
Oh yeah, there we go.
No, that my speakers in. My headphones in. Not that one. This one. Okay. Exit. Okay. So can you? How about now? Better?
Yeah.
You and me, once we were happy, carefree, but things go wrong, moving on, but still you pull me down. Me and you, so we're through, so much to undo. I'll break and all, growing tall, but still you pull me down. Yeah, you pull me down. Stop trying to pull me down. Still you pull me down. I just keep on trying. I just keep on it. I just keep on it. I just keep on trying. I just keep on it. I just keep on it. Try it, try it.
Oh, they've got such a fantastic groove going on. They've just got such, yeah, I mean, it's wonderful, isn't it? You must get such a buzz from performing all this live. But I can also hear the amount of involvement in terms of production. It's really, It's really accomplished work. You must be so pleased with it. So did you say so? How many albums have you done? Because I saw on the iTunes like about 4 or 5 or something like that. Is it?
Yeah, I've worked a lot as a session singer. I've done a lot of EDM, like drum and bass features. But then with the Funkalicious project, the Austrian bass player, we did an album together called Part of Me, which is a reimagined covers like jazz funk
Oh,
album, which is with horns as well. It's mega. The arrangements are so good to sing live as well. I love it. But we did songs that you wouldn't typically expect to be in a jazz funk setting, like Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. There's Toxic by Britney Spears in there, Ed Sheeran, Shape of You, and then we just totally funkified it up, and it's like big band and really funky with that jazz element as well. So we've got that album. It's called Part of Me,
uh-huh.
and then
So you're
the
based in when you're based in the UK. Are you whereabouts in the UK are you, Helena?
So I was West London, but I'm now Guildford way. I've got a little house in the
Oh, I'm
countryside
just
in
picking up a
Guildford.
bit of an accent, so I was just wondering if it was, yeah.
I grew up in Wales,
Yeah, I was
so
thinking that,
there's a
but
little bit of
didn't
accent
mention it
there.
at all. So I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm just hearing things.
No, no, yeah, there's a
And where did you say
little
you
twang.
did you go to a music theatre school in London then? Is that what happened?
No, I was in Cardiff actually, called the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. So I
Ah,
did an MA in musical theatre there. It was the very first year to go through with that one, which was cool. It was nice to be a freshly created alumni for that.
ah. Right, so
Yeah,
that
and then
was
I
a
went.
little while back, but then as you said, you went all the way into music. And what's going on this year? So if you've done the launch,
Yeah,
which just sounds like it was such good fun. Whereabouts in Vienna? Well, you said it was Vienna. Yeah, it was in.
yeah, I'm actually in Vienna.
Right.
Yeah, so I go between London and Vienna. So I work with this really cool soul group in London called Kokomo. They were around in the 70s, and they're like very legendary, like got quite like a cult following there. So I do come back for London shows with them. And I'm planning. I really want to do a live show in London. Now that I've done it here in Vienna, like it gives me confidence to be able to like. Of course, I knew that I can do it in London. It's just when the product has been so situated here and created here in
Yeah.
Vienna, like I kind of wanted to have the launch to see if it can be done, and I know that it can. There's a lot of really great guys that I work with in London that can bring that live to, alive with me. But yeah, I love
Yeah.
Vienna.
Whereabouts?
um
Yeah. Oh, so that's where you are based right now. Whereabouts would you play, do you think, if you brought it over to London?
I would love to do the Jazz Cafe. I think it's such a good venue. That's something I really envision. I think maybe I've played 606 quite a bit
That's a fabulous venue, isn't
previously.
it?
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
Funkalicious project. So I think maybe I need to speak to them, and maybe I'll do a show after, like at the 606 at some point. That
Yeah,
would be
either the
amazing.
Jazz Cafe or the 606 would be fantastic, I would have thought, because
Hmm.
they're just both buzzing places, aren't they? They're both, I don't know if it's as easy to get a gig at the Jazz Cafe. I don't know. Yeah, they're both competitive, but with the lineup that you've got and with that album, no doubt, well, I'll certainly come if you manage to get that, organize that, because it must be a brilliant night out, and it's brilliant that you're prioritizing getting all the musicianship and getting a large lineup, because that's no mean feat to
No,
get
it
people
takes.
involved.
It takes a lot. It did take a lot of preparation. I've got
Mm.
this fantastic trombone player who's actually my booker here in Austria as well, who did some special live arrangements for the live show, which aren't on the album. So for me, that was such an exciting experience to hear Diamond 101 with horns was amazing to start. And also there's a song called Sometimes, which doesn't have horns, and it works perfectly. And it's so good to see the music still evolve.
Oh,
Um, and to finally sing my own original material as well, because I've sung other people's songs for 14 years now. So for me to actually now be singing my own stuff is a really big deal. Yeah.
That must be so exciting, and I
Yeah.
really hope that more gigs that you get to really to do as many gigs with this project as possible. I know that again there's finances around that, and how do you go about that? Did you say you've got a trombone player that is your booker? Is he
Yeah, he's booking me here in Austria. Yes, yeah. So
like a
there's
fixer, I guess?
yeah. So there's some really cool stuff here, and there's not many people like me here doing the stuff that I'm doing. So I know that it's unique and people are excited about it. And of course I've got some lovely amazing London supporters too, who are like, come on, can you come and do a show in London? So I will be
Yeah,
coming.
I'd love to come and see that. Let me know if you organize that, because I just think it'll be fantastic. And so, what would you say from the I've been forgetting to ask this in this, but I do want to know what from your experiences, what do you feel that you've learned that you about getting your projects together that you'd like to share? If there's a kind of like a few things, maybe from the last project, because we're always learning as independent creators. We're always learning about
Yeah.
the next thing, really. And what and I've said on a few of the lives that I've done, it can be as much about delegating as doing stuff. But we all do need to be proactive. Having done a couple of albums myself, I'm well aware that we really need to be proactive to get these projects off the ground. And so, yeah, what do you feel you've learnt from the last project
Yeah.
specifically, or if not the last one, then over the course of your experience that you'd like to share
Yeah, I
about
think
being independent creative?
I think I've just learned that it's okay to be yourself and to actually go through this journey and to realize that there are struggles. There's always going to be some kind of roadblocks that kind of come in your way, which I know we've very much experienced the last 2.5 years of trying to, create and trying to do live shows, or just trying to live a life. So I think for me, I've very much learned that it's okay to go with the flow and to enjoy the journey as it comes, and to see it as a gift and also a learning curve as well. And also to believe. I think to believe in myself, because this is a project I've wanted to do for a very, very long time, but always kind of felt like I was waiting for the right time, but there's never really a right time. You just got to do it and see what happens from it. I was genuinely scared at the beginning, because I was like, how am I going to create this album? Like, I felt like I had to do everything by myself. And then Fabio, my boyfriend, reminded me, was like, well, no, you don't have to do it. You have people around you that can support you and can believe in your project, aka musicians. Like, I'm not a bass player. I can't play bass. But I have guys, incredible guys that I worked with previously that are excited to work, which that was something that was new for me. They were excited to work on a project with me, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I need to just believe in myself more and just go out there and ask people. So if whoever's watching, if there's any kind of project that you want to be working on right now but you're stopping yourself, I think, yeah, it's just do it and persevere and keep going no matter what happens.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. Fantastic to share that, because people need to hear that, especially when there is quite a bit to do, and you can have those ups and downs, and that belief can get tested over the process. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Right.
Thank you so much for sharing your brilliant music. I'm really buzzing about it. I'm going to start putting your music on replay, I think, because I saw that there's quite a few, and it's so vibey. It's just really love have you got that mixture of getting the pop and the electronic EDM quality into the funk. And it reminds me a little bit of some of the George Clinton stuff, actually, from back in the day. And just get it, because they used, I know it was analog and it was several decades ago now, but there was a real kind of, there was a electronic vibey sense in quite a bit of that, the Parliament stuff at times. And it's really fantastic music to lift the spirits and to dance to and to enjoy. So please let us know when you're, if you do get to do a gig over here, because I'd love to come and see it. I'm sure other people would love to come and see it. And and where can so we can find you? You've got your website, and what's your Insta? What are your social medias?
Yeah, you can find me on Helena May Music on Instagram and Twitter as well, and then also Facebook. Just type in Helena May, and you'll find my artist page.
Yeah, and have you done the YouTube as well? I can see you've got videos up there. You've got a YouTube.
There is a lot of YouTube content. Yes, yes.
All right.
I do this really cool series called Sunday Shout Out, which is actually similar to this, where I'm talking with every musician or creative that I work with on the album, and I've done 20 episodes so far. 21 actually is coming this Sunday. So
Really lovely idea. Another original and really lovely idea because when you're doing, well, it sounds a lovely idea in and of itself, not for any particular reason, because you want to enjoy the process and share the musicians that you worked with, share their stories with everybody else, other people that are interested. But it's a lovely idea for people that are interested in you to find out more about the whole process and to find out more about the other musicians specifically. So that sounds brilliant. I'll look out for that as well. And thank you so, so much for taking the time to chat with me. And welcome to the group. And I really look forward to hearing more about everything that you're doing. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much. It's been really lovely. Cheers, Anna.
All right then. All the best.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.